My favorite album's 1978. That's like yesterday in my life. So, 1978. Who could forget? The plane, the plane. That's right, it was Fantasy Island started. And of course, Nanu Nanu. Mork for Mork. This was just big things that happened in 78. I mean, yeah, okay, they caught the Son of Sam, that was. And there was a school shooting. I can't think of the person's name. But when they asked why, she goes, or the person says, I don't like Mondays. Which became I don't know, maybe that's how that one song, was it Boomtown Rats that had I Don't Like Mondays? Don't know. All right, but for myself, I was in college and I had income, working at the library and working during the summer, so I bought more records. So let's go through my favorite albums, and some of these is because I bought them then some of these is through time. And so my 10 favorite, but I got an 11th one. This didn't quite make it. Warren Zevon, Werewolves of London. It is a great album. It's a fantastic album when you have Johnny Strikes Up the Band, Roland the Thompson Governor, Excitable Boy, Werewolves of London. That's all on side one. Incredible. Side two, though, is a little wonky. You do have Lawyers, Guns, and Money on there. But, like Nighttime at the Switching Yard, there's a couple things that almost are like throwaways. Otherwise, super powerful album, so I only got it at number 11. Number 10, and Vinyl Richie had this, and I've been kind of following me, been doing this with him. Sometimes I'm ahead, sometimes he's ahead of me. He started it all. He started it, damn it. So way to go, Vinyl Richie. But it's been fun to do this, and mine's are, again, these are my favorites. And we have Patti Smith here. This is Easter. I really loved horses. Easter, though, this is rock and roll. This is coming out hard, more rock and roll than anything she's done. She has a Bruce Springsteen song in here. Just incredible, incredibly good album. This was it's called Easter, it's a redemption, because she had been, I told the story because I just recently have gotten this, but just about how one of her concerts, she was, telling God to send a sign, and off the stage she flew and broke her neck. And so I was like, oh, so she comes back, and it's Easter. It's about redemption, reborn. So a little more religion. I think it caught her attention. Not saying God had anything to do with it, but number 9, Jethro Tull, Heavy Horses. This is part of the trilogy of more folk Elizabethan type albums that he put out. This is such a beautiful album, and you can get this thing for only a couple bucks, but Jethro Tull is at its peak, and I remember I saw them in concert when they were doing this. This was my first Jethro Tull concert, and you have the beautiful Moths is in here. One Brown Mouse is so gorgeous. No Lullaby rocks, really good. Acres Wild, another one where Martin Barr really comes off. The Rover, gorgeous album, beautiful stuff. Jethro Tull was just, they were at their peak. They still had, the main core, which began to split up after this, and they began to kind of go different directions. But this is, to me, the last great Tull album, Heavy Horses. Then, and Joe Walsh, life's life. But seriously, folks, oh my God, this thing was so good. He's with the Eagles, and Eagles made the same year they made the Long Run. They should have just done this. They should have just took off all these Joe Walsh songs. This is kind of Joe Walsh being introspective. I mean, you have the greatest song in the whole wide world made about the rock and roll lifestyle with Life's Been Good to Me. That just explains it all about rock and roll lifestyle. It really does. He just did fantastic. But it's an album of so many different nuances on here. It's just beautiful music, over and over. Just a nice sing-along. Indian Summer, Inner Tube, theme from The Boat of the Weirdos. I mean, it's just some of this gorgeous instrumental, but it's an amazing album. It's by far my favorite Joe Walsh album. I bought this in college, and it just stayed on the turntable forever, and it still is one that I just think is so incredible. Every single song on this thing I think is wonderful, and I love. So that one's in at number 7. Number 6, debut album. Changed metal. Van Halen. Holy smokes. I mean, think about how many guitarists changed the way they thought about playing guitar. And it brought us David Lee Roth. And when we're still thanking the stars, thank you, Lord, for David Lee Roth and his humbleness. And he's just such a great guy. He was a hell of a frontman. I mean, amazing frontman. I saw them on their concert when they were doing their second one. I mean, this is just power-packed. I mean, they do the Kinks. You really got me. I mean, what a way to take that song and just throw it up in the air. Ice Cream Man, which is just a blues song. I mean, you got Atomic Funk on here. Janie's Crying, Running with the Devil, Ain't Talking About Love. It's just hit after hit after hit. These guys came out smoking hot. This is an incredible album. I didn't buy it at first. My little brother did, and it took me a little bit. Oh, what's that? What's that crap? And man, did I get to love this album. And to me, if there's one Van Halen album, this is the one. This is the one for me. Wow, smoking hot. That was number 6. Number 5. I think that's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think that was number 7. This is number 6. See, every time I lose track. Every time. Number 6. I think is a perfect album. Jerry Rafferty's City to City. I have the whole thing on my iPhone, so in the car I can play the whole thing. I have never tired of this album. The songs are so well constructed, so well made. Baker Street is just... It's a song. It's such a depressing, sad song as he sings about these people who have these big plans, but nothing changes. But you have City to City right down the line. Whatever's written in your heart has some of the most incredibly gorgeous harmonies. It's just Home and Dry. The Ark. It's perfect. It to me, it's perfect. I think it was the biggest album of that year. It did incredibly well, but there was a good reason for it. And the sax solo on Baker Street, mind-blowing. It's so wonderful. This album, it's one of my all-time favorite albums. Well, I guess for the year, it's only number 6. Well, the other ones must be really favorites, but they are. Number 5, Some Girls by the Rolling Stones. This is the very first Rolling Stones album I ever purchased. I knew of Satisfaction. I knew of songs like Sympathy for the Devil. I knew of Angie, but I never bought a Rolling Stones album. I just thought, man, that's what older kids buy, honestly. In college, now I'm an older kid, and this came out, and I bought it, and this is my favorite Rolling Stones album. It was my first one. It's my first love. It's still there. Miss You. Disco. Now it's rocking, but you got that thumping freaking bass on there. Boom, 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 boom. It was made for the dance floor, and everybody would get out to the dance floor to do "Miss You." When the whip comes down, you don't. Well, that was pretty big with the gay community. Imagination. They took the Temptations' Imagination and made it their own on this. Lies, just fast, faraway eyes has that country feel. Respectable is on here. Beast of Burden, shattered. Wow. Powerhouse album. I never get enough of this album. I can just sit and listen to it. I memorized everything on there, and it had all the cool, they had to change the artwork because they used Lucille Ball without asking Lucille Ball. I guess she didn't find humor in it. So, all right, number four. Elvis Costello's and this year's model. This is one where I still have, where I have the original on there. One of these, this is really the last one he was really kind of pissed off about a lot of things. And you got a lot of great songs on here. No Actions, Pump It Up. Pump It Up is one of the all-time greatest songs in the whole wide world. You can't help but get excited. You have Lipstick Vogue and Lipstick World. Lips and Lip Service. He's just pissed, and it's just his bile and anger comes out in that. Radio. Just incredible good music that he put together on here. Some of the songs, in fact, a lot of the songs were leftovers that they had been working on the first album. They just brought them on over for this one and put it out, and boom, out it came. Incredible stuff from 1978. Another just incredible album from 1970. Another debut album, The Cars, number 3. Greatest hits album. Let's just call it that. That's what it is. It is solid from the very first when you drop with the Good Times roll to the end, all mixed up. Man, My Best Friend's Girl, Just What I Needed, Don't You Stop, You're All I Got Tonight, Moving in Stereo. Not a single bad track on this. If you ever want a Cars Greatest, you don't have to buy Cars Greatest Hits. You just buy this thing. And it has pretty much all of it on there. It just, they serve their notice. Here we are. We're changing how we're thinking of music. My little brother bought this. Here we go again. I go, well, what's that crap? God, I said that a lot to him. What's that? He bought Tom Petty. What's that crap? Then I wound up liking it at all. My little brother had great taste, and thank God he was my roommate in college, because I was able to listen to all these albums and go, okay, it's really good. Now, I just didn't tell him that, but The Cars, number 3, you can't go wrong. Number 2, my little brother did not buy. I bought it. Are we not, men? We are Devo. Oh my God. All right, so here's my original that I had, that I saved from the flood. I love that, the vinyl on that. Back in 1978, when I got that, it's like, oh, look, vinyl's not black. This was the first album I ever bought that wasn't black. Vinyl. This album is just the best. They took the Rolling Stones Satisfaction, threw it, tossed it in the air, shot at it, did whatever. Down it comes, and it's their own. They made it their own. But you got Jocko Homo on this, which is just incredible. Too Much Paranoia, Gut Feeling, Slap Your Mammy. Come Back, Johnny, Shrivel Up. Oh my God, what else? Praying Hands, Space Junk, Mongoloid. Mongoloid, he was a Mongoloid, happier than you and me. Mongoloid, he was a Mongoloid. Yeah, I should have been singing on more of these. It's usually this is my karaoke Thursday, but great great album that just meant so much to me. I'm 19 now, and to hear something like this, changing music, changing the musical landscape. This is something new. This is something different, and I went along for that ride. And to this day, it's kind of why I keep always looking for different things, looking for stuff, because albums like this made such a difference. And this is just great. Out of Akron, Ohio. Akron, Ohio. But Akron, Ohio had a lot of great acts. But Devo, wow. And the number one. This is an extreme, one of my all-time, what the hell was, some air records fell. The Talking Heads. And more songs about buildings and food. Mentioned this story a million times, but we'll say it again. There's my original on that. I was watching Saturday Night Live, and on comes our guest, and the guest comes in, Talking Heads. So what? I mean, I knew nothing about Talking Heads 77, and he went into artists only. And I've done this a billion times, and we're going to do it again. I'm painting again. I'm painting my brain. I mean, it's just like, that guy, look at him. He's just like having an attack out there. I mean, it's like, holy smokes. It's like, is he all right? And the band was just fantastic behind him. It was so dang good. The next day, I mean, I'm telling you, the next day, it was Sunday, in the record store, Pickles was open in Lincoln, Nebraska. I went there and I bought it. And I've been in love with this album ever since. A lot of the songs were carryovers from Talking Heads 77, but instrumentation was added. Brian Eno came on board. Jerry Harrison was now firmly on board, and Jerry Harrison put a lot of great organ on this that you don't hear in Talking Heads 77. Talking Heads 77 is a little one-dimensional. It's a great album, but things came together. Eno really came in and made things happen with them. Absolutely incredible cover artwork. I mean, this, by far, is one of my all-time favorite albums, because this, with Devo, changed me, changed how I listen to music, it spoke to me. And we all have those albums. You have those albums. Each of you have those where you bought and you just sat and you said, wow, what have I been missing? This is incredible. And for some, it's the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the Kinks. It's, Metallica, Black Sabbath, Kiss. All of you have a group that did this. We're an artist. Talking Heads was that one to me. It said, you're no longer, this said, welcome to adulthood, Steve. Welcome to being an adult, because your music taste is now changing into something different. And I was in love with this group, and so it's been my all-time favorite group because of this, because of Saturday Night Live, the power of Saturday Night Live. Which, by the way, 1978, Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi did Soul Man on Saturday Night Live. I'm the Soul Man. But, wow, Take Me to the River by Al Green's on here. Again, just every song is killer on here. Thank You for Sending an Angel, With Your Love, Good Things, Warning Signs, Girls Just Want to Be with Girls, Found a Job. You can't go wrong. Big Country is just one of the most wonderful things about being scared of going out to the country. It's a big country, but safer in the city. Incredible. So, life-changing album. So there we go. 1978. Such a good year for me because it changed me as a lover of music. I totally began going a new direction with music. It wasn't about the radio anymore. Not about AM radio. Now it was college rock. And that has stuck with me ever since. So, exciting stuff. So, thanks for hanging out. 78, what a great year. But I'm telling you, 79, Gosh darn, there's some good stuff on there. Can anybody say stiff little fingers? Have yourself a great one. Thank you for hanging out with me. Bye.